That's awesome. I still like when you do the G, like that sort of a thing.
And for
hey,
those
I
of
have
you
a question
who
for you.
Aren't watching, John is counting down with his phalanges.
I think they could tell because I was going, that's normally indicating that I'm pointing at something with my fingers or counting.
True. I
think people know that.
So many places with that comment, but anyway.
I know
yes,
something that
question.
our listeners don't. I know something our listeners and viewers don't know.
Yes, you do. Probably a lot of things. You know a lot more than I know.
That is so untrue. Well, not important things.
Well, I didn't say I knew important things.
I've been to all 57 states, and I know there are several things that I don't know.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
The one thing I do know is something you and I share, in that we have the experience of living through a doggy that gets sprayed by a skunk.
Yes.
So tell us about your experience, most recent experience. Well,
my most recent experience. Yeah, I've had, and I have to say that, and I don't remember if I told you this when it happened, but I have had worse. So we are recording. It's actually Monday when we're recording, and it's not the Monday that this goes out. It's actually the Monday before. We have another one coming out tomorrow. But we're trying
and by the time it actually hits, maybe it won't smell anymore.
maybe. I sure do hope so. But, the first time that ever happened, I had a German Shepherd when I was younger. And when I say younger, it was when I was in middle school, high school. He passed away probably my second year of college, first or second year of college, but that doesn't mean it. He got sprayed by a skunk, and that one was much worse than this. And I don't know why. It could have been the hair. Clyde is technically a short-haired dog, so that probably helps quite a bit.
That does make a difference for sure.
Yeah, and so Clyde on Friday went out and started chasing a skunk, and the skunk sprayed, but didn't really hit Clyde, but you could still smell it. I mean, it was not good. So we got away with just doing some dry shampoo, and that got whatever lingering smell was there. Well, the next morning, Jen didn't look outside the window, she doesn't usually. It's a common thing, but it wasn't quite light yet. She got up really, really early and just let Clyde out. Because Clyde sleeps in our room, and Bonnie usually sleeps with Peyton. So Peyton wasn't up, so Bonnie wasn't up. So it was just Clyde. Well, Jen didn't see the skunk that was right below the window, right by the back door. And opened, and of course Clyde went right for it, and the skunk got him right in the face. And the funny thing was, he was mid-bark, so his mouth was open.
Oh, no.
And Jen said he just sat there going, the whole time, so he never really closed his mouth.
Wait, could you show that one more time? I don't think...
Yeah.
If listeners ever needed a reason to go to
watch,
YouTube and watch,
that would be it. Definitely.
That would be it, because that was the best impression of a dog getting skunk urine or whatever it is.
Not pheromones.
Skunk stuff out of his or her mouth. Yeah. That was the best impression I've ever seen. And I've seen others. I've seen people try to do that.
Yeah,
but never,
I'm sure you have.
Never succeeded like you just did.
Your long life. Yeah. So anyway, it was pretty nasty. Jen didn't get hit, but she right away tried to wrestle Clyde away from it as the skunk was running away, and so she got it all over her clothes. Oh, gosh, I get a text. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I get a text from Jen and then also my neighbor at the same time. And because I texted him last night because the skunk on Friday, or actually on Thursday was the first time the skunk was seen. Friday was whatever happened then. And then, of course, all three times the skunk went under his deck. So obviously I can't do anything.
Let me make sure we understand. Were you out of town? Why was
Thursday I was out of town. Friday. No. I was in bed at 6:30 in the morning.
She texted you in bed?
Yeah. And normally my phone is not shut off, but I have the do not disturb on up until about 7:30, something like that. But she's in my favorites list.
Sure.
So, people like my dad, my aunt, my wife, Peyton, you, and, various other people. Yes, you've made the list. that can text me and it'll actually come through. So I get the buzz. So I didn't hear his. They came a minute apart. So his came first, but the phone didn't go off. And then Jen's came in because she had gone to the store because she looked up how to get skunk smell out, and she needed hydrogen peroxide, which we had very little at home. What else did she need to get? Because I think we had the other things here. It was dish soap and one other ingredient in the hydrogen peroxide, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But vinegar, maybe? I don't remember.
Vinegar sounds right. Yeah.
So anyway, she made the concoction and had to get it really quick because the sooner you get it, the less the smell is. So she texted me. I went down. Poor Clyde's laying out on the porch. He's already vomited twice, and he's just miserable. He's got that sweet look in his face going, I don't know what I did.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So Jen brought that stuff home. I put it all together. I washed him. I did the solution all over and let it sit for 5 minutes. Then I washed him with some soap and some really harsh-smelling doggy soap.
Yeah.
And I got most of it out. I mean, it wasn't horrible. But I washed him a second time that day and then let him dry. And then he was we could at least stand it because I think most of what happened, most of the skunk stuff hit the house more so than him because that's what we were smelling.
Yeah.
More so. I also brushed him and got a lot of hair out there because he hadn't got all of his shed stuff off yet either.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then Sunday was the third bathing because the plan actually was, ironically, this weekend on my to-do list was to wash the dogs.
Wash the dogs.
So that didn't hurt. Yeah. No, and Clyde got really washed. But I had to wash Bonnie on Sunday as well because I didn't wash her on Saturday. So I just gave him another bath. And while he doesn't really smell, but if you get close to his face, you can still smell a little bit. Or at least I can, but no one else can.
Poor guy.
Yeah. It was pretty nasty.
Man. And we had a golden retriever some years back, and what you said about the hair, and Goldens are all tufty,
all hair. They're just
good gosh, just trying to get that. It just gets embedded. It seems like, and so that makes it tougher. And so,
anyway, my neighbor texted me, and because the night before he said he couldn't smell it after Clyde got sprayed the first time, and that morning he said that the smell was so strong it woke him up. And that's why he was texting me. He's like, I smell it now. It's either that or my son, who's only 7 or 8, is really smoking some nasty stuff. Wow. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, he was saying, so he went out and got repellent because the skunk is living under his deck. Yeah. So he went and got repellent and was asking me what he should get and stuff like that. Our first house that we bought outside of Chicago was on a golf course and nice, and it wasn't this massive property or anything. It was just nice. It was our first house, and the neighbors next door, we would be downstairs and we smelled this terrible skunk smell, and so we assumed it was underneath our. We had a a screen room that was originally like a deck, so there was nothing underneath it, and we thought a skunk had crawled under there and died because it was absolutely just nasty. And Lisa, believe it or not, even let me smoke cigars in the house just to try to dissipate because it was that nasty. We hired some guy to come over and trap under the deck, or under the screen room to see if we could. And he found a possum, which was alive, so didn't smell like that. Yeah.
We finally found out that the next door neighbors, and they must have had the smell. If it was bad for us, it had to be 10 times as bad for them. A skunk got into their window well by the basement, and a brick or block or something fell on his head and killed him. And so he died in their window well. And then I imagine everything releases at that point in time.
Right.
It was the terrible smell.
I bet.
It was horrendous. And how they didn't take some action, it was I'm guessing a week, at least in my mind it was, that it was so bad every day. And
wow.
So, yeah, we've had great experiences with skunks that, happily they're not around much. And with more recent dogs, if we smell a skunk outside, get in here right now, because I don't want to go through it's just as you well know, it's just a nasty smell that just lingers.
Yes.
And it makes it.
Oh, it's still not gone. Every time I walk, and that was the worst part. So Peyton and I went and rode around in the Jeep on Saturday just to get away from the smell for a while. Yes. And we had the top down and just going around. Went to get some donuts, and which is a funny story. I'll tell you something, because I was talking to my work buddy, our buddy Matt, the one from work today during work, and just kind of checking in with him and checking on the weekend. And I told him about going out to get donuts with Peyton, and we went to one place, but I forgot that it was the farmer's market at that place, and there was another festival going on across the road. So we ended up going to their second location, which is on the other side of town, which was fine. That just gave us more time away from the smell.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And he made the joke, because the name of the donut place here in Nashville, and they're not a sponsor, is Five Daughters. But autocorrect on my phone put $5. And he's like,
which coincidentally,
well, I was going to say, he's like, well, I really hope you didn't spend $5 on a donut. And I said, no, not at all. No, it was $8 per donut.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it wasn't. Let's see. It was $7. I think it was $7 after I did the math. Now, keep in mind, folks, that's including tax and tip. But I think it was, let's see,
for a couple donuts, not for just one.
Right. It was $7 a donut is what it came down to.
$7 for each donut.
$7 for each donut. Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
That's pretty steep.
It is, but it's Nashville, and that's what Nashville's doing right now.
That's what they're doing. I remember the one of the skunk incidents where we were certain, and it had been days, and we got the dog washed and everything. We had this enzyme bath thing that was supposed to be just for them, had it in the cabinet and whatever, ready to go. And we did everything, and finally we're going, okay, the smell is out of the house. The smell, thank goodness, we finally got rid. And then I went someplace to work or to see a friend or whatever. He goes, you kind of smell like skunk.
Oh, no.
Come on. It's been like 3 or 4 days.
That was what Jen was really worried about going to the studio.
Yes. But, and it's probably I think of some of the farmers in my hometown. They'd come in from the barn, and you could tell when they get to school that they were out doing chores in the morning.
So I made a mistake. I apologize, everyone, because I was bothering me, so I checked it. It actually came out to $5.33.
I knew you were lying.
I wasn't lying.
Just to try and.
I thought it was 41. I thought it was 41, but it was only $31. $5. $32. Yeah,
pretty steep.
Yeah, it is for a donut, but they're good donuts.
They gotta be good donuts.
I think Peyton said they're 100 layers. It's 100-layer donuts, so they're layered donuts. They're not just cake donuts.
Layer, so I don't really know what that is.
They keep folding it, and folding it,
got it.
And then they cut it out, and then
I've seen that. Yeah. Wow. So wonderful donuts.
Yeah. So you smell like skunk. And that was what Jen was worried about too, going to work. But I guess she got away with it. Again, I have smelled so much worse.
Oh, for sure.
That I'm really glad, but still, I was surprised. He took a direct hit.
Oh, and gosh, and with his mouth open, that's just terrible. A poor guy.
Yeah, but that's what I worried about too when we were driving around. But again, that's why we had the top. So then again, on yesterday, on Sunday, I actually took Clyde, and I had the top off, and I put him in the back of the Jeep with the protector, and Peyton and I just drove around for a couple hours and let him air out.
Aired him out.
Yep. It was fantastic.
Oh, and you probably enjoyed it too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only reason we went home was because Peyton had to use the bathroom.
And at least he was probably riding with his mouth open.
The whole time. Exactly.
Mouth
Yeah.
open, yes. Oh my gosh. Well, since we're on the dog topic, I don't think I've mentioned that we
You
had to put
haven't, but
Indy down.
I didn't want to talk about it.
No.
You know how well I do with death.
I know, and it's not something that I delight in or anything, but it's unfortunately it's the fact with dogs, and I wouldn't have enjoyed talking about it a week ago because it was a tough week, and when you're a dog owner, and if our listeners are, that it's the most difficult part, but we've had to do it, and it's funny because I still remember. My mom, we put down our first dog, and I was 7 maybe or something like that. And and we went because I guess they thought it was important that we kind of said goodbye to her and all of that. And we got there, and Mom said, I still remember, she just hopped out of the car. She had hip dysplasia. Hopped out of the car like she was a puppy. And then you go, oh, great.
Yeah.
She was in pain and all of that, but not that day. And so anyway, it's always a tough thing. Anyway, so sadly, we put Indy down, and he had some stuff that was just not. He was not going to do well with it. So anyway, but thank you for not necessarily just bringing it up. But it's you have a dog for 12 years, and man,
they're part of the family.
Well, yeah, for sure. And the stuff you miss coming home, the barking, and I'm always, stop barking. I'm right here. I was like, what are you barking? And now, of course, where's the barking? And I can't believe. So Lisa started doing the barking, and that's been helpful. But
wow.
Yeah, so anyway, it's a tough part, and I don't know. We have always. I don't know if we'll ever get another one. Of course, we said that after the last one.
Yep.
And a year to the day, a year to the day, she got another one. We got another one, and so I think probably no, but who knows? I
have a feeling the new house, once it's done,
maybe.
So in about 3 years,
maybe if we're lucky. Seriously, and I don't think I told you this. We were all psyched about the trusses getting there because that's where we are. We're waiting for the roof to go out, so you need the roof trusses. And they got there 12 days ago now. And I'm like, yes. And finally, I texted the builder, and I'm going, we've got trusses. Yes. He says, all I got to do is get a crane, and we'll get them going. Awesome. Still lying on the ground.
Oh, jeez.
By the house 12 days later. And
you can never trust the contractor.
Well done.
Thanks.
Bill Taylor will be laughing at that just briefly because he is the king of puns. But he was going to say something, but you may have beaten him to it.
Yeah, sorry. He was probably just hoping one of us would say it.
Yes. Please say something about trust me. Trust me. So anyway, and we just had, as you may recall, and you may have heard, we had a tropical depression, we'll call it, that came through the area. So Friday and about morning Saturday was nothing but rain. And it wasn't terrible rain, but not flooding. We got very fortunate, but
well,
is it okay for them to be rained on? And actually it is. It's just, it's frustrating, but we know they're there, and that's the next step.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to leave the tropical depression pun to Bill because there's so much about being depressed in the tropics that I'm sure he could come up with.
I'm sure. Yes. Yeah, and that's why I never really liked Fruit Loops cereal because it never made sense to me. Tropical depression.
So speaking of Fruit Loops, it was interesting.
Yes. Wow.
Do you follow on YouTube Ava Zubek?
I do not.
She is I really enjoy her things because of where she goes and who she sees, but her videos. But sometimes I get very annoyed with her because she's very in touch with her feelings. Let's just put it that way, and likes to talk about certain. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay. She's Polish. Okay. But she sounds, her accent is so not Polish. It's very British, so it sounds very British, but she is from Poland. And she has traveled all over the world. Most recently, obviously, with a lot of COVID stuff, she also she didn't buy a van, she bought an old Defender and turned it into a camping rig. And she drove around Poland and stuff in that general area for a while. Now she's brought it over. She brought it over to Mexico, drove up and crossed the border. Her goal is to drive from Mexico back up to Alaska and then go all the way Alaska to all the way down to the southern tip of South America. That's the plan. Wow. Yeah, in this old Defender and camping along the way, totally solo. Very, very. She got stopped at the border. That's the funny part. Our border, and actually got handcuffed. So she tells the whole story about that.
Wow.
It's really, really interesting, and I completely forgot where I was going with that. We were talking about tropical depressions. We were talking about
yes, Ava Subek.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was going with. There was a point to that.
Well, and maybe it's as you talk about it, I was thinking about our friends Nate and Kara.
Kara and Nate, yeah.
Just got done. Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't watched any of their videos, so don't.
Yeah. Well, I was just telling you that they did a trip through Mexico.
Yeah.
And had you seen that?
I had seen that, yep. Up until the point where they left the van with their parents.
Right, exactly. And that was, they just loved it. It was their favorite camping time ever, they said. And
so interesting.
You remembered, I knew you would.
Well, no. It's not about it. It's not about no. No, but I did find something very interesting. So we've been watching Kara and Nate. We've talked about them on this podcast before. Mm-hmm. And my wife has been a dance teacher for a very, very long time and taught dance in East Tennessee for a very long time. And she has a former student who she's friends with on Facebook who lives here in Nashville.
Okay.
And she was on Facebook and just scrolling through, and all of a sudden there's a picture of her former student at a wedding with Kara and Nate.
Oh, you're kidding. How funny.
She's like, you know Kara and Nate? We watch Kara and Nate. She's like, yeah, they've been friends for a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Jen's familiar with them too. That's great.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That was fun. Anyway, no, I can't remember my point. But, I mean, it wouldn't be a PoddiMouths podcast if I actually remembered every point I was trying to make.
I'm actually, I would be confused as to your true identity if we didn't forget something.
Exactly.
Okay, but I'm going to look for Eva. What?
It's Ava.
Zubek.
Ava.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ava.
I think it. Yeah.
Okay,
Ava
I
Zubek.
see her. Zubeck. Okay, sorry, I did not want to listen to her. And I've never seen her stuff before, but okay, that's fine.
It's fun. It's interesting. She has some interesting takes, but she is. I hate to say it this way. Sorry for anyone who falls into this, but she is a millennial.
Oh, well.
She's got, let's just put it that way. The stereotypical millennial, and I'm focusing on stereotypical folks.
Understood.
Stereotypical millennial, whatchamacallits.
You're the one saying it, not me.
I am the one saying it. Not saying it well, obviously. Foibles.
She's got quite a following.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's very good. Don't get me wrong. She is exceptionally good at what she does.
Okay. All right.
She's fun to watch.
Cool. Have you have you checked in with? I think we've talked about the Sailing Doodles before.
I haven't checked in. No, I haven't been watching a lot of stuff lately. So the one that I haven't been watching a lot of YouTube lately. The one I have been watching and spending a lot of time watching is Jimmy's World. Save the 310. Okay. So he's a former business owner who sold his business, has a bunch of money, and all he's doing is buying and repairing and selling old airplanes.
Really?
And so it's very
that's right up your alley.
Yeah, he's bought a MiG. He bought a MiG, and he's going to be
really.
Yeah, he bought a 310, which is a Cessna twin engine. He's bought a couple of them.
Well, that 310 Pilot is one that I used to follow, but they sold theirs.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's up with them.
Yeah, they still have something. I still see him come up on my list every once in a while. I don't know for what though. Yeah, so that's really, I've been watching a lot of his, and I really just haven't had time.
No, you have been busy. You have been crazy busy. I, on the other hand, I just do nothing most of the time.
Well, it happens when you're retired.
I'm not retired.
Oh,
that's the problem.
I thought you were well over retirement age.
Oh, I'm definitely knocking on the door. But yes, no, it's funny too, because, I guess we can say it this way. It was an unexpected, no, I shouldn't say unexpected, because that's not true either. It was an unplanned, vacation for my last gig.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been constructing a new company and putting together content and so on, without going into too much detail. So it takes time, and it's one of those things that, if you get inspired at 2 a.m, that's when you do it. And and I'm often, I wouldn't say inspired, but I would say done sleeping at 2 a.m. So
Sure.
sometimes I'll come in and knock something out. But just to make it short and sweet, it's a bunch of videos, and so I'm writing the content because they're all teleprompted. And so you have to not only write them so it's conversational, but you have to make them interesting and valuable enough. So often I'll, the next day after I write something, I'll go, what the hell was I saying there? And
So
have to kind of doctor through them.
You're going to be the next YouTube star that I'm going to subscribe to, huh? Besides our channel, of course.
Boy, that would be great. If only I could get 1 million plus followers on YouTube, then
gotta start somewhere.
Just great. I think we're going to probably be selling access to it, but I can get you a discounted deal.
Really? Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad
The
to help.
Poddy, it's whatever the URL is /Poddy.
Yes, I'll get you the Poddy in.
Poddy in. Ooh. The Poddy code.
That would be very funky. I'll give you the Poddy code. That's great. I like that.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, it's so I don't have the travel that you've had a lot of lately, and I'm quite thankful for that. But on the other hand, it's here in front of my computer screen doing a lot of this stuff. So anyway, I
very quickly have been getting up in status on the airline. I've always had some level of status, but so I downloaded this app. It was advertised in the App Store, which I don't usually do, but it was interesting. It's called Flightly or Flighty. Like I'm kind of flighty.
Please don't make me agree with that.
Yeah, and it actually it shows you your upcoming flights, but you can actually go in and look at the history of your flights. So according to this, since 2021, I have flown 50,796 miles, which is equivalent to 2 times around the world.
Okay.
And only 73 flights. And it shows you on a map. Oh, shoot. It didn't work that way. It shows you on a map. Can you see that? All of the destinations I've flown.
Yep.
It's
pretty consistent
crazy.
area.
Yeah, very consistent area. Yep. But I thought that was fun. It was interesting, and it goes through every single flight. But yeah, I've gotten up there on my status, and the funny thing is, it was like, so on. I don't know what they are on all the other airlines, but on United specifically, it's I think what is it? Silver, gold, platinum, 1K, and I've been silver forever, and that affords you quite a bit. You have to get to silver, and then you have to keep silver. And so to get your points and to get your miles, it's just been a slog,
Sure.
70 some flights just to
Which is why you appreciate status when you get it, because
Yeah.
it takes so long and takes some effort to get there.
Exactly. But once you get there, so you get the silver, and then it was a slog to get to gold.
Yeah.
Slog. Then I hit gold, and now I have enough points, and I have enough
Segments.
segments. I have enough segments, and I have enough of something else. I'm just waiting on specific points. Not mileage, not miles. So I have enough miles.
Spend dollars.
No, not dollars. I have enough.
Oh, really?
dollars
They
already.
don't measure that?
No, not anymore.
Interesting.
Now, if they wrap it into, they call it a PQP, which you can get like 150 or 250. But it's interesting. I have enough flights and I have enough miles to be 1K already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough PQPs, but they come pretty quickly. So now that once I hit gold, I'm almost to platinum, and then it's going to be almost to. So I probably in the next month or two will have jumped like 3 statuses. But it's just funny because it was such a slog to get to this point.
Sure.
And then it just goes really quick after that.
Well, they want to keep you. I think
exactly.
they give you some benefits to sticking when you get to that level of that many flights that you fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, and that's good. And because I think I'm gold with Delta, which is, I used to be diamond, which is their top tier,
which is 1K at
right,
United.
Roughly the same thing. And back then, when you reached diamond with Delta, they would give you free access to their clubs, and you'd get just a bunch of niceties. And then I hit a million miles with Delta, and they, it's this. I've gotten nothing, no recognition, no nothing. It's just BS. And or at least it has been to me. Some people I've seen. I got a handwritten note from the flight attendant that they were so appreciative of my million miler status. I'm going, I hate you. You suck. And, where's mine? But because I'm gold now, I guess that's probably not. He's just gold. And they,
gold. No, it's so
badly
it's
about me
interesting.
behind my back.
What do you need, Clyde? Clyde was just licking my elbow. It was weird. No, so
because he smelled a little skunk, I think, on your elbow.
Probably, and just wanted to add. It's like, you don't. It doesn't smell like skunk there anymore. Here you go. The only reason I really there's no benefit to me, with the exception of a couple of things, when it comes to the status. One, with the gold status, I get to be Group 1. I think. I don't even know
which
yet.
Which is early boarding.
Early boarding, yep. And I want to be Group 1. Now 1K has one that's better, and that's the only one that you get. So really, I want that, and I want to be able to pick my seats a lot earlier. So now I can actually, instead of having to wait until to check in to pick an upgraded seat, I can actually do it right when I book, which is that's so it doesn't increase after that. It's except So I've got that, which is good. So really, I'm fine where I am. I don't care about the next level necessarily, but I do care about 1K because 1K actually gets pre-boarded.
Yeah.
So that one I do want to get to eventually.
And people, and for those of you who don't fly a lot, you might not understand the why behind it. It's, because I've talked with people, I just check a bag and I don't mind being the last one on board. I get that, but for us, who we always carry on, with very few exceptions, and when you carry on, it's just a stress point. If you're not sure, if you're if you board later, am I going to be able to get my bag up on top or whatever? We've already selected the seats. It's just a matter now. There's no brain damage. I know I'm going to be one of the first, whatever it is, 10 people on the plane probably. Exactly. And I get to put my bag wherever I want to, and whether I'm upgraded or not, I know it's one less thing I got to worry about. Yep,
100%. And I only carry one bag. I have a backpack. It has all of my clothes in it. It has all of my computer equipment, because that's the key. That's why we have to carry. If I wasn't carrying my computer, I probably would check my bag. I don't care. Well, it depends. If I'm working, no, because I don't want to have to wait in baggage claim. I want to go to my car.
And because when you have a certain status, they don't charge you for checking a bag. So, on some airlines, they not only charge you for checking a bag, but also for carrying on.
Yes, they do.
The little airline. So there's a small airport. Fort Myers is the closest to us, 50 minutes away, probably 45 minutes away. And there's a smaller airport, Punta Gorda, which is 20 minutes away. And it's really an easy in, easy out. It's awesome. Like some of those small airports are, that it's just a piece of cake to get in and out of there. Problem is, the only airlines really that fly in and out of there are those like Allegiant, which is fine. And I've had some had people say good things about Allegiant. We have yet to fly them. But it's, $60 one way to get someplace, $60 back. I mean, it's a steal. But then if you want early boarding or you want to carry on a bag or it becomes about the same price as a mainline airline.
Yep.
And so if you don't mind having a middle seat, not sitting next to your spouse, then I can live without him for an hour and a half. It's not a long flight, but okay, and that's true. But you just go, really? Is it that big a deal that you can't? Well, no, it's $187 more. Is it a big deal to you? Yes. Enjoy your middle seat, sir. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. That's funny.
So,
that's
whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. It just makes life a lot easier when you can you have more control. That's, for sure. That's the key right there. You just have more control. And that is the status thing.
No question. And you don't fly Southwest much anymore, do you? Or do you?
No, I try not to.
And I have a little, I like Southwest, but I always pay the extra $25 each trip to get into Group A. So as what I just described, you don't have to worry about getting your bag on. I will always pay that money.
Yeah.
Because it's reasonable to me. $25, okay, fine. I'll bump up to Group A and off you go. But beyond that, it's just okay. It's a cattle call. I'll choose the seat because that's how they do it. When you walk on first, you get to pick your seat, and it's fine. It works okay for me. It's just not. They do not let you really develop status other than free flights. There is no treatment status.
Well, there is status. If you fly them a lot, you don't have to pay for that extra upgrade.
True, and you board early, but it's there's really nothing where you get to.
No, you might get a free drink ticket every once a year, or
and it's not bad. As I said, it's not like for somebody that could not potentially get status someplace else. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Southwest, and generally speaking, they're good people to deal with. So,
absolutely. I would hands down say they probably have the best customer service
out of
any
so
airline.
Yeah.
Now I'll be. So I will admit that I'm a little bit of a prima donna when it comes to airlines and stuff like that. But here's the thing: if I'm being perfectly honest, it has nothing to do. If it has nothing really to do with the airline that I fly, it's where I fly out of and into is why I choose the airline I fly with. I can go, and the prices aren't much different. I can fly Southwest. I can fly American. I can fly Delta out of Nashville. It's fine. But the easiest terminal with the easiest security, with the access to parking, all happens to be the United wing. Mm-hmm. It's the shortest terminal. I know exactly where the gates are because there's only 5 of them. Mm-hmm. And the security is the shortest security. Plus it's the only security entrance right now that has clear and pre-check, both at the same time. And if clear's busy, I can go through pre-check. And if pre-check's busy, I can go through clear. It doesn't matter. Yeah. No. And you get a discount through United with clear. Mm-hmm. And then if you go to the place where Southwest is and American is, they're both together in one terminal. It's the longest terminal in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
And it's so busy and so loud because they have bars with live music, like they have like their downtown.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
downtown on Broadway. Yes, and it's a horrible experience. The flights are fine, the airlines are fine, but it's a horrible experience getting to your gate, getting on the airplane, and then coming back. It's busy. You feel claustrophobic. I hate it. Yeah. I'd much rather go do the United, especially now. Of course, I had to fly the other ones before because the United might be way out of budget when it comes to price. But as long as it's within budget and within everyone else, and it's not just ungodly expensive, I'm going to go to the United wing. Yeah, Delta second if I get the option because theirs is similar. Yeah, still a little bit longer, a little bit busier, but not
and that's to me that's not a prima donna thing. That's just being a smart traveler because if you're going to fly, 50,000 miles or whatever it is, you need to make it easier rather than more difficult. And
right.
all those little things play into it, and you kind of figure it out at some point that this is my easy passage. I also go based on the connecting cities, depending upon where I got to connect, because that's a big deal too. If it's people are surprised when I say this, but when I flew Delta all the time, Detroit is my favorite city to connect. It's easy. It's
easy is good.
Going from one gate to the next, hopping on the little shuttle train, or even going in the tunnel. It's easy. Chicago, I'm not so much, and that's where I always had trouble with United, was in Chicago, and ironically, I'm a half an hour flight away from there when we lived in Wisconsin. So,
nice.
But most of them, it seemed like, were delayed out of Chicago because of weather and traffic and yada yada. So, anyway.
I fly into Houston quite a bit, and if I'm not flying into Houston, I'm flying into Denver. Those are my two where I call them my hubs. They are hubs technically, but that's my hub too. And so when I fly from Nashville to Houston, it's usually in a puddle jumper. I don't know why, but it's an express. That's what they call it.
Yep.
And then you get to Houston, and then wherever I fly in Texas is usually an express flight because they're small airports. So it's in one terminal, and they're the terminals that in Houston, they still have terminals where you're outside.
Oh, cool.
So you walk off the airplane and then you walk into the terminal.
Great, except when it's raining.
Exactly. But it's really easy. And the nice thing is I'm off, and then usually I have a long enough layover in Houston world that's an hour or more, even 30 minutes or more. And the United Club's right there, and all of the gates are right there. So I can literally just walk off the plane, go into the United Club, grab a bite, go to the bathroom, walk out of the United Club right onto my next flight. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Now, it really sucks, though, when you actually have to go to a different terminal or different gate area to get a flight, because then it's like walking 60 miles,
Yes.
Denver is great, too, because it's usually, again, they're all in the same terminal.
Yeah.
And usually, I don't think it's ever not happened. Maybe once it's not happened where I'm walking past the United Club to get to my next flight. So
and the Denver terminal, especially with United, the thing that's it's like half a mile long.
It is. Oh, it's massive. It's massive. But they have the walking.
Oh my gosh!
They have the walking pathways.
Yeah,
so
when they're working, yes.
When they're working, exactly.
Moving walkways, moving
walkways. That's what
the walking move ways.
I like that. That's what you should. That's the new. That's actually their business name.
Yes,
so
I think it is the move.
No, it's so it's all ease. And I actually had this conversation with my boss because I was like, I'm spending way too much time on an airplane, and I just don't want to spend, because right now prices are so high.
Yeah.
And he's like, I understand you need to keep it within reason, but it's more important that you get where you need to go faster so you can get your job done.
Well, for sure.
So, it's one of those things. And to your point about connections, I had to actually have a conversation with our travel. We have a travel booking company. I had to have a conversation with them because they kept throwing alerts in the system when I was trying to book a flight, because there was a Southwest flight that was cheaper than my United flight. And they're like, you have to take the Southwest. I'm like, I can't. It's 4 connections.
Jeez.
Actually, it was 3 connections. I'm over-exaggerating. It was 3 connections. I'm like, I can do 1. Maybe I can do 2. I don't even want to do 2, but 3 connections. No.
I'm not doing 2 connections. I would never do more than 1
I wouldn't do 2 connections. Ever. Yeah. And now if I was for vacation,
unless I'm going to Hawaii.
Right.
If it's Hawaii,
for
sure.
Yeah. But not for work. I spend way too much. I'm not getting anything done. I'm spending 8 hours traveling, and
it's unproductive time too.
It's unproductive
time.
It's
not like you can get stuff done, and you work as well as anybody on the road. It's unproductive time.
Right. So that was my big thing. It's like, I can't. You know what? I fight it all you want, but I'm gonna have to. How much is my time worth?
Well, that's what you have to ask.
Yeah, and you've got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But there are other times, I think we talked about this too, the same thing goes for the length of flight. Like, I flew from Nashville to Houston to Los Angeles to Denver, Denver to St. Louis. My last flight should have been St. Louis home, but St. Louis would have been St. Louis Atlanta or St. Louis, Chicago, down to Nashville. It would have been 7.5 hours traveling, and I could have. I rented a car and drove it because one, the ticket was cheap, or the car was cheaper than a ticket, and two, I got home in 4.5 hours instead of 7.5 hours.
But still, and it, driving is a whole different. And I know you love driving. It's a different stress though than flying.
It is,
because you got to pay attention, and there's that level to it as well.
You don't pay attention when you're flying,
or driving,
Yeah,
no, I don't care.
So speaking of, here's one for you.
What?
This was one of those things before the podcast I said I wanted to talk about, but I kept forgetting, and this has been multiple times. On an airplane.
Yeah, I know. Ava Zubak.
This is still not that. I'll probably remember that after we're done with the podcast.
Okay, good.
But this is we're about to wrap up. But I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
When you get in on an airplane, you still have many more miles than I do, I'm sure, when it comes to flying. But I still obviously fly quite a bit. Mm-hmm. When they do the safety briefing, do you pay attention?
Yes, I pay attention politely. I don't pay attention internalizing what they're saying necessarily.
Right.
It's a good question, because some people continue talking loudly, and you get some of those folks. I usually am in an exit seat, so I get briefed as well, because I choose exit seats if I can't get into first class, and the benefits there. But I had beyond the briefing, I had one guy, a flight attendant, say, so have you read the trifold thing? And I said, absolutely. He said, okay, what's the last word on the last page? I said, quickly. He started laughing, high-fived me, and walked away.
That's awesome.
And yes, that's
a great answer.
Story about paying attention to the announcements.
That's fantastic. But to your point, I notice I watch people. I'm a people watcher, but I watch people and they're looking on their phones, doing this, and I'm like, you know what? I fly a lot, and they say even if you fly a lot, all the planes are different. No, I can show you. I fly a lot of the same aircraft, so that's not the case. It's a respect thing.
I agree.
I want to be respected when I'm at work. Why wouldn't they want to be respected when they're at work? It takes 3 minutes. Just pay attention.
Well, and especially when they're physically, and on smaller planes, they physically do the announcements. They do the demo. I think it's funny on the big planes, though, when they have the video screens, and then they stand in the aisle, the flight attendants stand in the aisles like this.
I haven't had that in a while. Most of them are awesome.
It's so hilarious, because then sometimes I'll eye them up and I'll look at them like this too, and just we're watching. My head is pointed toward the screen. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
No, I find that interesting, and I just sit there and go, why? You just 3 minutes. Just be respectful. I don't care if I'm not listening. I'm honestly not, like you said, I'm not processing it. I know what the spiel is, but I'm still looking at them, paying attention.
And I still look at them in the exit aisle. I still look at the doors. I know what I'm going to grab when I grab it. And, wow, can you lift a 40-pound door? Yeah, especially if I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, especially when I'm on fire. Yes.
You may be riding on the door when I throw it out, because that is how quickly this is going to happen.
Exactly. So I just thought that was interesting, and I'm glad I finally remembered to talk to you about that. So, but on that note, folks, I do think it's time to wrap things up. John and I could obviously talk for hours and hours and hours about absolutely nothing, which is
we are
PoddiMouths Podcast. Yep,
that's it.
Why, yeah.
That's why we're so famous.
If you want to share the PoddiMouths experience with all of your friends, send them to PoddiMouths.com, which they can link to all of our socials from there. If you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe.
Wait, just for the people on YouTube, we'll smash the like button for sure. But could you do Clyde after he got sprayed in the mouth one more time?
I'm glad I could entertain you, John. As long as I entertain you, that's really all that matters.
Well, sometimes it's just the two of us.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the time.
We love our listeners and viewers, though.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Sometimes it's just us.
Most of the time. I'm not going to lie. Folks, have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.